My name is Ben Rueck, and I am a professional rock climber out of the United States. And right now I am in Malawi doing new routing and bouldering development. After the message, my expectations for this area were pretty low. I wasn't really sure what a desert or humid climate or tropical climate would do to granite, but everything wound up becoming great. Bouldering is actually a sub-form of climbing in which instead of going super high on big walls or using a rope, you actually climb smaller stone, but you do more difficult moves, and when you fall, you generally fall into something called a crash pad. And these are just like little foam pads that kind of protect you from either hurting yourself in dangerous situations or at least taking some of the fall from breaking your back or legs or anything.
Je m'appelle Mélissa le Nevé, je suis une grimpeuse française. En fait, à la base, on avait repéré par satellite des blocs qui se situaient plutôt en altitude. Et en passant devant la face de Chambé Face, on a vu juste en bas mais un amas de blocs et on s'est dit non mais on peut pas continuer en fait. Il faut qu'on s'arrête là et qu'on commence à développer tout ça parce que c'était juste énorme.
It's too hard not to stop and go find new boulders like that. So what we decided to do as a team was not do a ridiculous hike to the high altitude boulders, but to stay and actually develop these lower ones that seem a little bit more accessible. And I think we did the right thing. Like, the boulders there were just unbelievable. What we weren't expecting from them, though, was how big they actually are. A lot of the time, you know, we were talking to each other, the team, we were all deciding that it would have been best to just bring bolting gear because the boulders, they look so small against the backdrop of the Chambé that they look normal sized boulders. But when you walk up to them, they were at least 30 meters tall in some cases. It was unreal, the amount of bolting potential, root potential, bouldering potential, all within one tiny little space. And the rock quality was just amazing.
Yeah!
So when we first arrived at the lodge, immediately I found this one boulder that had a deep pool on it. And there was this neat little boulder problem that you grab onto a crimp and you jump up and you grab an edge and you mantle up, and it was really fun. And then as I started looking at this thing, I kind of started to realize that there was going to be a lot more on it. And one in particular line caught my eye. The rock was really, really smooth because it was next to the river, but the holds were positive enough that if you had the right amount of strength or the right amount of time, you could work out how to body position just perfectly to stick onto these things without slipping off. And what you would have to do is you'd have to find this body position to pull over and around a bulge to a full wingspan, where you would literally have to catch a tiny little sharp tooth point with your index finger to hope to hold on.
Come on! I had the hold, it felt really good, and I just slipped right off.
If I had enough time, I think the problem would have gone, but unfortunately we had to leave, or we needed to go do different boulders underneath the Chombe face, so I only had a limited amount of efforts on that thing. So. They're very clustered communities that are located all throughout Malawi, and driving through them can be kind of hectic. Car.
I know.
Okay. It's like, one of you is gonna have to give up here. I'm hoping it's you.
Parce qu'en fait, il y a du monde, mais partout, ils marchent au milieu, tu zigzags, tu te prends un vélo. Ah, là, c'est assez dangereux.
It was pretty obvious that the scariest thing that we were going to be doing wasn't exactly climbing, it was going to be doing the driving. They only have one main road throughout Malawi pretty much, and everybody seems to use that as a congregation point or a meeting point. And so driving is just completely insane. So in Mangoshi, the boulders that we went to were located behind something called the St. Paul's Apostle Missionary Building. And it's this really old rustic complex.
Et c'est vrai que ça fait, on arrive sur cette route là en terre et d'un coup, oh my God.
As you're looking, you see these giant boulders just sitting right behind it on this perfectly isolated hillside.
Quand on est allé à Mangochi, 2 jours après, on a décidé de marcher un peu plus loin pour voir le potentiel qu'il pouvait y avoir. Et je suis tombée nez à nez en face d'un bloc magnifique, en fait une espèce de... Ça faisait un bloc devant et une espèce de proue comme ça avec un rocher orange. Je suis allée voir, je fais waouh, ça a l'air énorme. J'ai regardé, les écailles tenaient et il y avait juste une ligne parfaite qui faisait en forme de vague proue. Et je dis bon ben ça, je veux vraiment essayer. Ça a l'air magnifique quoi. C'est plutôt de l'arquée vraiment petite, très petite. Et les moves sont vraiment magnifiques. Il y a surtout un move très dur, vraiment très très dur. C'est un bon 8 à plus, un minimum. Mais c'était vraiment très dur. J'ai pas réussi à faire le move en fait. Et c'est vrai que si je revenais au Malawi, ça serait une bonne raison de revenir. C'est vraiment c'est le bloc le plus beau que j'ai développé ici, je pense.
As the excitement grew, I started running around the bush, and as I did, there wound up being probably the weirdest experience of my life, which was a piece of grass slicing my finger. And it wasn't a very nice slice, it was incredibly deep, which kind of worried me because I thought it was going to ruin my climbing trip. And then, as I was still exploring, I walked into the back of a cave. And as I was looking at the cave, I realized that it was 2 granite blocks stacked together, and there was this perfect roof crack coming in between the boulders. And so I kind of figured, well, if my finger's done for crimping, maybe I could go ahead and start doing crack climbing. We're gonna have to find some place to buy tape, and I really don't think Malawians are gonna go, we got climbing tape. Yeah! Ah!
Come on. Come on, come on.
Yeah, everything has to be perfect. The body position, the foot that like holds you into the crack, or how hard you're putting pressure on your finger to try to make it work. It doesn't sound fun, but it is literally one of the greatest things that I've ever tried to climb, and I almost got it.
I wonder why we do this.
I had too fun.
C'est des gens qui sont très soudés les uns aux autres, qui sont très souriants, qui aiment aider, qui aiment partager.
When we first came to Malawi, I wasn't really sure what to expect with the local population, especially in areas that are not known for being super first world. You kind of wonder exactly what they're going to think. A bunch of people coming out to go climb on rocks instead of, doing normal, like working things. But the local populace was very supportive. They were very nice, and they showed us, they helped us, and they found different little bouldering areas, and they worked really well with us. And it wound up being a really different experience, because when we were at Mount Malanje, you would get tons and tons of little kids that would just run around and watch you climb. And
oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Okay, I have another one.
it was kind of fun. It was like you had your own little support system, like cheering you on and laughing when you fell. One of the most interesting things about climbing in Malawi is the wildlife. You have baboons, lizards, snake, just random things running around, checking out what you're doing, and not really being aggressive or like having anything more than curiosity. That was a very interesting thing, and it provides a really cool setting.
Alors le Malawi, c'est quand même vraiment un endroit très spécial et très très beau. C'est plutôt très vert, la biodiversité est vraiment impressionnante. Il y a à peu près tous les animaux d'Afrique, hein, donc on passe de crocodile, hippo, éléphant. Donc on est allé explorer un troisième endroit, c'est à Cap Maclear, c'est sur le rivage du lac Malawi qui fait 500 km de long.
So the really nice thing about actually using a catamaran or a boat to go explore on Lake Malawi is really the boat ride itself. One of the challenging things was the entire shore that we were trying to explore was just granite boulders underwater, so there was no place to put the catamaran boat. So what we did was we grabbed some sea kayaks, and we found that the next challenge was going to be using the sea kayaks to take us to the bouldering or to the wall to actually try to develop something, and being able to stand up in the kayak without falling into the water.
Quand on est arrivé devant Rueck, j'étais waouh, ça a l'air juste énorme, cette espèce de rebord qui fait une vague comme ça et qui monte jusqu'en haut.
Come on! Damn it!
Tu tombes dans l'eau une première fois, tu retombes dans l'eau une deuxième fois, troisième fois, tu montes, tu montes, tu montes. Et là, tu prends la prise, en fait, la prise clé que tu te dis, celle-là, il faut vraiment pas qu'elle casse. Et je l'ai juste prise, j'ai même pas tiré dessus, elle m'est tombée dans les mains. Et en fait, c'était fini du coup.
Oh.
What we finally realized was the struggle that would occur during that, which you're set with time limits. It's very difficult to get into a projecting process when you have maybe a day or two to finish something that's at your limit. And we kept running into this in certain areas because the climbing here is incredibly new, fresh granite.
Ça m'a vraiment donné envie de repartir sur ce genre de trip. J'ai fait un petit bout de chemin depuis et, au Malawi. C'était vraiment, vraiment très intéressant. Et en fait, ça me donne juste envie de continuer. C'est juste magnifique.
When I think about Malawi, I will definitely think of it in a positive way. It literally probably is one of the most adventurous areas I've ever been to. You're not only trying to figure out how to survive down here with life and bouldering or climbing in general, but just with everything. You have to have patience, which is a very good thing to learn, and you need to be very conscious of everything that you're doing. This kind of trip is one where you grow as a person, which I find one of the most important things, especially when you're traveling to different countries, or more importantly, interacting with different people and like coming accustomed to how things are done in different parts of the world. The bouldering here is absolutely worth coming back to, and hopefully in the future I will actually be able to come back and see if I can break apart some really amazing climbs.